Remember when you were a kid and wondered what would happen if Germany had to face Real Madrid? Like, who would Toni Kroos play for? Until one day understood that it's not how it works. Or is it? What if I told you that the Argentinian national team once played a Copa Libertadores game? Just like the Latin American Champions League? The story begins in Tucumán, Argentina. It's May 2026. The Atlético Tucumán players are celebrating as they guaranteed themselves a spot in the next Copa Libertadores. Everything is happiness and emotions, but they will still have to pass through the rounds of qualification in order to be able to play the group stage. It's December the 21st, 2016, and the CONMEBOL Copa Libertadores draw takes place. The Northern Giants, Atlético Tucumán, meet their rivals, El Nacional from Quito, Ecuador. The Tucumán staff begins the analytic work in order to identify the rivals' weak spots. Their biggest fear is height. It occurs that Quito is one of the highest located cities in the world. So basically, when not used to it, players might experience hypoxia or lack of air. In the capital city of Argentina, Buenos Aires, the U20's national team are being called to play the historical Sudamericano. The stage is Quito, Ecuador. Back in Tucumán, January is about to end, and the big day is finally arriving. El Nacional is coming to Argentina to play the first leg. It's a tight game where Tucumán plays elite football until in the 85th minute, Brian de Jesus scored a header that leaves a full stadium in silence. In Buenos Aires, Ezeiza, the U20s are training before their flight. Their destination is Quito. They have to face the host nation, Ecuador. The Argentinian staff is making sure their players have everything they need to fly and rest. The squad travels and finds accommodation in their hotel. February 3rd, 2017. San Miguel de Tucumán. The Atlético staff is planning the trip, and following a recommendation from the sports analyst, they decided that the team had to stay in a hotel in Guayaquil, a nearby city that happens to be at a lower altitude. They want to make sure the team sleeps well and adapts slowly to the hike. They plan flying to Quito in the same day of the game, February the 7th. 2 days later, Argentina U20 faces Ecuador in the Sudamericanos, and they are beaten 3-0. It's a game where height played a huge role in the mind of these unexperienced players. Licho Martinez, Lautaro Martinez, and Cuti Romero were literally bullied by the Ecuadorians U20s. The day after, tactical talks are being held, analyzing their next rival, Brazil. The Argentinian squad stays in Quito, as the Brazil-Argentina game was going to be played in the Olímpico Atahualpa as well. The final whistle sounds, and it's a draw. It's 10:30 p.m. and the delegation is heading back to the hotel until they get some pretty unexpected news. The Atlético de Tucumán squad have slept in Guayaquil. It's 4 p.m. and they are supposed to fly at 6 p.m. in a flight that's usually about an hour long. The process of checking out and heading to the stadium is thought to be simpler, as they are traveling in the same country. But something's off. At 6:10 p.m., the aircraft pilot is told that the plane, a Boeing 737, is not certified to fly. Their pilot insists that there must be an error, as every parameter is correct. From the controller base in the airport of Guayaquil, he's told to stand by, as they are checking for an error. It's 7:45 and the anxiety begins to kick in. Both fans and players seem to be getting nervous, as the situation doesn't look like it's gonna change. The Tucumán officials are making calls non-stop. They need an answer. The CONMEBOL Copa Libertadores official guidelines suggest that teams must be in the city where the game will be played 24 hours prior to the match. It also mentions that clubs have a 45-minute minimum waiting time before being legally entitled not to play a game and claim the victory. Do you know what doesn't last 45 minutes? This ad. If you have a project and are looking for motion art or graphic design services, hit me up. Just send me an email and let's do great things together. Just as great as the moment in which it's 8 o'clock and the Argentina U20s lineups are up. People are waiting in the airport next to a plane and there's news. The flight was allowed to take off. But the company that was responsible for it decided to cancel it as the delay was too big. The solution is to offer a smaller plane. The problem? Not everybody could fit into it. The players and staff are priority, and so as many fans as possible, forcing most of the officials to stay in Guayaquil. By this time in Quito, journalists are desperate to learn about the opinion of the El Nacional staff. Basically, they don't want to play if Atlético Tucumán is late. The Tucumán airplane landed successfully in Quito at 9:45 p.m. It's really late. The officials were able to hire a bus for the players, but there's a new problem. The players' gear wasn't flying with them as it didn't fit into the plane. The U20s are fighting against a stronger Brazilian side. They need to resist in order to draw and get closer to qualify to the U20s FIFA World Cup. 10:30 p.m. The final whistle was blown. Mission accomplished. At the same time, the Tucumans arrived to the stadium. Some are already feeling a bit dizzy because of the pressure changes. They are almost an hour late already, but calmer now. Someone did a great job. Minutes after their landing, the Argentinian ambassador in Ecuador calls the El Nacional president and convinces him to play the game. He knows the Ecuadorian players want to play and insists that they have the chance of claiming the victory afterwards, independently from the result. At 10 p.m., the Tucumán president is informed about the lack of equipment, and as if this was all divine will, the Argentinian national team staff offers Atlético Tucumán all of their gear to play the game. In this moment, both team and staff understand they are being seen by the entire world. The solution is perfect. They even shared colors. The game kicks off. Everything that happened before is now forgotten. Atlético Tucumán are now representing nothing else than their national team, every player's dream. And they just need a goal to secure a spot in the next round. An entire continent is watching the game and heard about the news. And there's an immense amount of aura around the Atahualpa Olympic Stadium. As expected, the match is tight. Tucumán are defending and counter-attacking as much as they can. And in the 64th minute, Fernando Sampedri scores the only goal the game had. With Lautaro Martinez written on his back, smaller sized shoes, and nowhere, Atlético Tucumán celebrates this agonic victory. I remember the day this happened. And back then, there were lots of journalists complaining about how we got used to do the wrong things, not following the CONMEBOL guidelines of being 24 hours prior to the game in Quito. They were saying this made the competition like less serious and some stuff like that. But to me, this was a moment of drama. The real drama that makes the Copa Libertadores so unique. Against all the odds, looking for a way to solve the problem, involving the ambassador of Argentina, Tucumán faced El Nacional and beat them with a considerable sporting disadvantage. In Europe, this game would probably have been cancelled instantly. This incredible story would have been impossible. The difference is so huge, you cannot even imagine that happening. For starters, because the European continent occurs to be flat compared to the Americas. Finally, I have to recognize El Nacional for opting to wait for Tucumán, instead of claiming the points that corresponded to them in the first place. They prioritized football over everything else. And even though they lost, they became part of one of the most beautiful stories in the history of football. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Give me a like, subscribe, and comment something down below. That would really help me quite a bit. See you!